Hey everyone, so this is my review of Arrow Season 5, Episode 23 called Lian. And essentially what this episode is about is that Oliver decides to team up with Merlin, Nyssa, Slade Wilson, and Digger Harkness to try and stop Adrian Chase once and for all and save his friends. And this was a really entertaining and really interesting episode that, like all the other CW superhero shows that I watched, also had a sort of really, really great season finale at wrapping a lot of the stuff up, but also sort of introducing what's to come in the next season, and I'm really excited to see what all they're going to do there. And I really enjoyed the whole team up of these random people throughout Oliver's life all working together to help him save his son and his family. And the only one that was kind of the problem was Digger Harkness, because he just seemed to come out of nowhere. All of a sudden he was there, and then all of a sudden he wasn't like on their side, and he just seemed like a really random character for them to bring back. And then he just kind of disappeared at one point in the episode, and just that was such a weird moment to bring him back in this episode for. And I did really enjoy them sort of separating up all of Team Arrow into random different spots, and how they eventually got from like point A to point B to point C was very interesting to see them progress. And the little bit of a storyline between Merlin and Thea also was kind of unnecessary, but it was still interesting to see how, when it came to it, Thea did have some sort of feelings for Merlin, because he has helped her in so many different ways to sort of grow as a character. So when the possibility that he is dead, which I don't think he is, but there's still that possibility, was very interesting to see how, like I said, how that affected Thea. And then I just plain really enjoyed them having like these different sort of integrated battles with these certain key people in Team Arrow fighting against the people on Adrian Chase's team, where it was like Adrian and Oliver fighting against each other. Then there was Black Siren and Black Canary both fighting against each other, and Nyssa and Talia fighting against each other. So like these key people that should be fighting against each other were. And each of those little scenes in this episode were really great to see how that battle turned out. And I especially really enjoyed it when Quentin finally did sort of go up to Daya and tell her that she truly is the Black Canary. That was a really sort of small moment in there that I really enjoyed. And then what Adrian's whole plan was in this episode of how everything eventually turned out was really kind of far-fetched to then again bring up the question that I asked in the last review, which is, how many times has Adrian Chase gone to Lian and no one's noticed? Because to fill out all this plan that he has made, he's had to make like several different trips to this island, and how that didn't cross anyone's mind of why he's gone so many days and all that stuff just seems really weird to me, because there's no way he could have set like everything up in a small amount of time. That's just impossible to do. But with that, it was interesting how Adrian still sort of stuck to his plan of trying to prove to Oliver's friends that he is a killer, and that Oliver won't ever be anything else but a killer. And like having this whole sort of plan around the idea that when it came down to it, Oliver was going to kill Adrian, which at some point in this, I truly believe that Oliver should have just killed him. But it was still interesting to see all of what happened because of the fact that Oliver kept choosing to not kill him. And also having like this whole underground thing of trying to find his son and choosing not to kill Adrian because Adrian's the last hope he has to try and find William. It was interesting to see how that eventually all turned out with Oliver, William, and Adrian at the end of this episode. And then Adrian's secret other plan in this thing, where he actually spread bombs throughout all of Lian so that he was also like sort of the trigger which I want to know how that worked out. How did he make himself be the thing that could blow up the whole island just by killing him? That seemed like such a weird thing, that he didn't just have like a classic button that he pushed or something. No, his actual death caused the island to blow up. That was really, really kind of weird to me. Then I really enjoyed the scene in the temple where Oliver made the decision to not kill Adrian for like the first major time. That was really cool with how Adrian responded to the question of where's William, and he said, your son is dead. And seeing Slade Wilson's reaction to that was really great. And that was just really sort of an interesting scene to see how everyone reacted to it. Especially Oliver, where even though Oliver is probably really, really furious with Adrian now, he still chose to not kill him. That was so great to see. And then, like I said, the whole final scene on the boat between Oliver and Adrian on the choice of saving William or not was so great to see how that eventually all turned out. But I'm still really mad that when it came down to it, Adrian still is dead, even though Oliver wasn't the one to kill him. And just how this episode ended, I'm so excited to see what they're going to do next and how everything's going to happen and change. And I'm very curious to see what's all going to happen with the rest of the team who were still on the island when it blew up, because I feel like Oliver, when he was last talking to Felicity, he gave some sort of a code word that Slade Wilson would know, because he brought up like the fact of to tell Slade Wilson, since the plane doesn't work, to bring the team to like this Argus dock. And I feel like that is probably like a code word that the team's probably fine, because probably Slade Wilson knew what that meant and like brought them to like a bunker or something so that they're safe from the explosion. So I'm very curious to see how that might turn out. And just overall, this was such a great and really entertaining episode. And like I keep saying, I'm so excited to see what the next season will bring and what's all going to happen there and how it's going to affect everyone, because pretty much everyone in this episode dealt with something. And just, yeah, that's my review of Arrow, Season 5, Episode 23, called Lian. So, yeah. Bye!